Okay, so this is the 11th of December practice. There's a few things to highlight this, but the first set of points is just one team pulling, one possession, 7-on-7 playing hex, and then later on it turns into gameplay. And there's a few things to highlight that we can definitely do better, and that's the aim of this video, and we'll summarize those key points at the end. So let's get watching. The first point, Alex, who's the hat, catches the ball and does some great dribbling off camera with Calvin, and you can see that the defenders are caught out, and actually we get past halfway with this play. And then that's a nice little backhand around, and then here I feel that this handler could be further back on this 45s. This will allow a breakside option. I know Calvin is currently looking at Ken running across, which is fine. But if he wanted to, he could fake to Ken and throw the backhand around to me coming into this space possibly. But this is not possible with Calvin where he is. Whereas if Calvin was further back, then if they poach, then Calvin Sue could throw to Calvin Chen, and then Calvin could throw round. And it just gives a few more options. I think Raymond's in a great position here also. Misses the pass but gets picked up, and then another 1-2, which is good, and kept connection, swing disc around. There's a nice little triangle here. So Calvin run the disc through. Raymond is not defender's not blocking the lane. He's going to run into a good dump position, and then at the moment they're going to do a triangle between Ken and Calvin, and Ken's going to end up scoring in the corner. I think that Cecil here could be looking to fill the handler position, which will then allow this defender attacker who's slightly off screen to fill the wing position. So this having two handlers back, and imagine these players are not handlers constantly, is part of the key, is to rotate around back behind them, so make them wings and hats, even if they weren't wings and hats, even if they were just handlers. So this triangle then plays out, and Calvin sneaks a backhand and just keeps it in. Next point. Wing catching the ball, throwing to a handler this time, throwing back to the wing. I prefer the throw to go to a hat rather than, so the wing and the hat playing rather than the wing and the handler playing. But it's okay. Calvin is pushed up a little bit too far for my liking again. I think CT is in a good position. Calvin this is a wing. We've got a hat and another wing and two deeps making cuts. I mean, this cut is a shortcut, but they're taking what they're given, so that's okay. So we really want that initial pass between the wing and the hat, and then these handlers giving that space. It's fine, 1-2s. And now if you look at our shape, this has now become, Calvin was originally too far up anyway, and the 1-2 means that his man is now stopping anything coming into this space, and we've ended up with this like square shape. So the 1-2 was fine, but when you do 1-2s like that and people are constantly moving, they tend to pull themselves out of shape. So that triangle's nice, and we got a good option here. I think this pass should go. I mean, this pass, I would like this pass to go, but there is two players off camera here that you can see the shadows of. So I can understand why this pass didn't go. Their defender's face marking, so throw into this space is good. Maybe not too far lead pass. That's the problem with having these two defenders here. However, if CT had been in a handler position, and then these two players out of here had ended up being in the wing position, where CT is, then maybe this would have been a more viable option. So again, trying to get these handlers back behind the disc is key there. Guess this though. I like the fact that he faked it and then threw it, rather than turning away from it. So that's good. There was a call though. So this gets checked back in. It goes to CT again on the side, and he instantly throws back into the middle, pretty much. Throws an IO to Calvin, and now this really helps. One, get the disc off the line, and two, help our get our shape back. The CT needs to be thinking that this person, well, I mean, this is going to be hard to imagine this as a hat now because the whole shape is not around, but it definitely needs to head into the backfield, so into that 45-degree handler position rather than a flat handler position. And then there's just miscommunication on this cut. But the shape was alright at that point, just miscommunication. Okay, next point. Wing catching disc right into the hat. Okay. In this case, I should have looked for the return pass. I didn't look for it. I left it, which is okay, but it'd been better if I hadn't done that. I feel that in this situation, you can see that Calvin is throwing on the run, which is great, but I don't know whether it's this defender here in blue that discouraged him from going up the line. He ends up making a free handler flat again. Maybe he's still sort of got the pull in the mind and he's thinking, I need to do 1-2s with handlers. But once you get the disc in the middle and it stops, you can look downfield. I feel in this situation, the best cut for Calvin is the red arrow going up the line and then Alex coming back for the hat position. So then if CT throws up the line, that's great. This then isolates this deep player for a cut. If CT wants to fake the throw to Calvin, because the other handler is further back, not affecting, then hopefully there's a pass to the middle to Alex running across. Another option actually is Alex to stop and just catch the disc in his space, because that's what he's being given at the moment. Like, there's no defender on him. Defender is too far away at the moment. But what happens is Calvin runs back into this flat position, and now there's no options because there's 3 defenders in the line. All you can do now is play 1-2s. Rather than turn away from CT who threw the disc to him, I feel that he should stay connected with CT again. I mean, Alex is probably coming into this space as well, but he doesn't know that at this moment. So I think he should give it back to CT and run up the line, and that would have still corrected the earlier not going up the line. And then again, if he goes up the line, then this CT might be able to get a throw off to Alex. If not, swing it round and then maybe get Alex or myself on the far side of the field a bit later in the point. But he does turn and throw to the other dump, and then we just get another 3 people in the line here. And now, I mean, I don't think this is okay because Alex was sort of free, and if Calvin had given the disc CT and gone a line, Calvin would have been a threat, but now Calvin is just basically clearing out. Our structure on this side of the field is totally gone. So I think the going up the line option would have been better. And this is going to happen now because of that cut. This 3 in the line is going to happen, which is okay. He does give the 1-2 and head up the line though, which is exactly sort of the thing that we were looking for, a good strong cut. Now we're missing the middle, but CT does get the inside out. Calvin spots that, gets the inside out, and actually if you look, we're back into our structure pretty much. Got wing clearing a bit, and 2 handlers. We've got an IO throw. Unfortunately, well, you can see the deepest 3. Like a better throw would have been great, or maybe a more conservative throw. It would have been better. But the shape's pretty good there, and then this throw goes awry and goes out of bounds. Next point. Wing catching the disc, throwing to the hat again. So this time does get the disc back. Previous time just didn't try to get the disc back, but does get the disc back this one. But should try to run a bit faster. I feel if you can run fast through these passes, then you're going to, especially the last pass out of the dribble, if you know it's going to be the last pass, run a bit harder, take that extra couple of steps, which will get you closer to your defender to be able to break them, or even maybe past your defender. And definitely past the poach or the defender of the person you're doing the dribbling with. Like if we can get more momentum and get past the person we're dribbling with, then we're going to have more options because there's going to be one less defender in the way because they'll be marking their player. So a bit more aggressive here would have been nice. So now there's no return pass because it's in the way. Whereas if Alex had just decided this was the last return pass and stayed, and then I ran a little bit further, then my chances of throwing to Cecil would have been higher later on in the point. It's not bad. There's some good flow coming up actually. I mean, the dump doesn't go. Raymond maybe could be a bit further behind, and you can see Cecil coming into this middle space at the moment, which is going to end up being the throw that's right. But I want you to keep an eye on this wing as well, because Calvin Su actually ends up getting the disc on the far wing, on the other wing. So it just shows how players rotate around the shape really quickly and can become disconnected and connected extremely quickly. Shape obviously is a bit out of joint here, but I think that's a side effect of the disc not moving. So we had dribbling and it got stagnated a little bit, and then the dump didn't get free comfortably enough. Maybe this backhand should go, and the shape gets smaller and smaller and smaller when players hold on to disc. Now, so there's two things: one, let's try not to hold on to disc; and two, let's try not to make the shape smaller. Because the shape getting smaller makes less options for everybody. So the disc goes to Cecil, short pass, a nice strong cut here by Ken. I mean, he wants the disc deep. It's here you're thinking maybe Cecil's going to give it to this handler. Maybe stay connected and throw it back. Ken can see the whole field, so you can see this handler might get the disc. This deep coming in might get the disc. Might get a 1-2 with the person throwing. Doesn't look like it at the moment though. So I feel Ken does clear hard. Should head more towards like the middle of the field without affecting Alex. Or running down towards the middle, because then you're not going to be a same third throw later on. It gives you both sides of the player to throw to. Does curve to the middle here, to be fair. Gets to this point. I feel that turns, and I'll just show you that again. Sort of like wants to get the disc, obviously, but the defender's underneath. Like here, when this disc goes, I think you head towards the middle more, and then look for that deep shot. So rather than turning and stopping, he turns and stops and tries to beat his defender under such a big separation. It's probably not worth the effort. And then, in fact, if he hadn't have stepped back, he would have been deep of this player, and now would be one-on-one deep. But because he stepped back and didn't see the Calvin cut, or was just wanted the disc too much, then he's now missed that opportunity. You see Calvin's now caught the disc on this side of the thing. We've had 3-4 flow passes, and you can see the shape is destroyed. It's not too bad, I suppose. Like, the player out here still keeping space, and there's a handler and a handler. But these two players are behind the disc, which is where we want them to be. I don't want the disc to flow and be behind the disc. But this is the thing: when you get a bit of flow, your shape will go, and then you have to work hard to building it back once the disc stagnates a bit. See, actually not too bad. We're pretty much back into shape now. And that's what, 3 seconds later after flow. Okay, look, run out of options. Derek does well to spot the open space, the hat in the middle, and then some great vision by Derek to see this cut developing at this angle. especially through a couple of players, and a nice score. Hat catching the pool this time. So if this is, I would call this a short pool. I mean, this pitch is probably not a full length pitch. So this would be like, not on a normal pitch, 10 yards in front of the end zone, 10 meters in front of the end zone, let's say. And well, 10 meters, I guess. But again, if we could do some dribbling with a wing rather than the handler, I think that's going to be a better position for us overall. But it ends up being the handler, and we end up with this 3 in a line again, which means that we have to do these 1-2s for a little bit. Now we've got 4 in a line because both wings pushed up. And actually, when we didn't have 4 in a line, that's when the disc went down the middle. So 4 in a line here. Because we threw multiple swings, they've pushed up, and now we've ended up with 4 in a line, really struggling to get any sort of continuation downfield. Now have to do 1-2s and maybe get it down the line with a handler move rather than throwing down the middle. Tom's making a strong cut deep. Again, it's so congested that a huck option is probably not going to be on either. But when Wharton gets the disc, you see he'll point. This side's a bit better now. People are wider. He'll point to Jocko to go into the dump position, and Jocko does that. And because the defender has now cleared, is not involved in this play, and there's enough space between this gap, Wharton's able to throw to Tom, making a strong cutback. So, yeah, we don't want those multiple handlers in the line because that's for very long. I mean, it's going to happen. But nice break by Wharton, allows the continuation to go around, and then Tom throws a sweet little backhand for Josh to chase down, which is a really good throw. Next point, sideline start. This one, just fine, but this is a good shape to start off with. But this doesn't really take the options too well. First of all, as you're bringing the disc to the line, you want to be making eye contact with your players to set up a throw early. In this situation, it's a straight up false. I think if the wing, if this wing had picked up the disc and walked to the line and seen that the dump was so poached, they should just throw that straight away. Especially considering that the deep and the hat aren't free, they should just throw this dump straight away. And that would have meant that the hat would have still been in the center, and they probably would have got the disc on the continuation. The other option is to throw to the hat straight away, either going up the line or throwing it straight to the middle if you can. Now in this situation, you can't throw straight to the middle because there's this dump poach. So this hat should decides to go up the line but comes back. But I think as soon as they decide to go up the line, they should carry on deciding to go up the line, and that allows these deeps to hit this middle space. So preferably in this situation, I think it should have gone dump and then continue. After that, if that's not going to happen, then it should have gone up, got hard up the line, the other's back. But what actually happens is it stalls a little bit. Then the dump goes as this hat is going up the line, and the hat comes back, not free, and then it just gets more congested in the middle field, whereas I think we could have made some progress upfield. So this is all about communication, both non-verbal through faking. Like if you don't like this hat or this dump, then you have to fake it, and that would really help. These deeps shouting and this deep shouting that they're going to be free under would have been really useful. Maybe they did that anyway, can't tell in the video, but this communication is key in this situation. So you can see it goes back to the dump, and this defender and this hat are not free to the middle space, and the hat is now coming back to be a hat position. But actually the hat should have continued because the deeps would have probably been able to fill in the space. Maybe even the wing that threw the disc running across the field. If they had the opportunity, they might have done that, but they don't have the opportunity because the hat's gone back on itself. Okay, so I mean that's the problem here, I suppose, is that like maintaining shape is good, but you also need momentum. And what's happened is we've maintained shape with no momentum. We maintain shape by the triangles in the shape moving around each other. And in this situation, we've just kept the shape with no movement. Everyone's still stuck in the same positions, and that means that we're struggling. Okay, gets the hat ends up getting the swing because the other handler goes up the line or runs out with the dump. And this wing does the same thing, is that they think they have to return to this wing position even though they started making a cut. They're not going to be free in the wing position where their defender is, so they should head towards the hat position because the hat left, and then that gives this deep an opportunity to hit this wing position. But again, they head back into that space and just end up stagnating the play. Okay. Maybe this should have gone. I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was a great cut. There's a little bit of a shimmy. The defender actually does end up a little bit on the wrong side. It's tight. It's in your own end zone, so it's a hard throw. But if a little pop backhand goes out here, that probably solves a problem. We've got a handler possibly running up the line after this. So if this throw goes, that really helps. I mean, this is 3 separate little mini problems now. Sort of 4 problems. The initial not throwing to the dump, then the initial hat not clearing or not going up the line, then the hat catching the disc and the wing not clearing and going up the line, and now this throw not going. It's 4 things in a row really which aren't perfect, and that's just adding pressure on. I appreciate it's in the own end zone, which makes it harder and stuff, but these are all contributing factors. And then actually this spot is a pretty good spot, to be honest. Like, as in, let me rephrase that. This vision by this player to see that this deep is free and there's going to be a backhand opportunity through this gap, which is really small. I mean, the pressure's on, so maybe a more difficult throw is going because of all this pressure building. Maybe the stall's getting a bit high. But actually, if this connects, it's a great throw. But it's just hard, high percentage, and the defender sees it as well. The angle's not quite right on the throw. So if this throw was straighter, this player probably would have got it. But it's a bit wider, and both deeps have a good vision of the field, and it ends up getting D'd because of the angle of the throw. So that point really failed because there was just multiple problems with it. All small things, but those things all added up. Next point. Again, starting from the wing position, good initial shape. This, I mean, it helps that we're not right at the end zone again, but this shape looks pretty good. Defender is caught on the wrong side here, so you'll see that that causes a problem for the defense. That's a really good, nice starting shape. Eye contact's been made. And gone for a really good cut, which has caused this other defender to poach off. This happens a lot, actually. Defenders trying to help each other out in this situation. This wing needs to be a bit more aware, and we'll see why in a second. But these two feel they have to help each other, which creates this deep, which is Ryan free, and that's all because of Johan's cut. So as the play continues, it's good that this player realizes that they're poached and heads towards that middle space. But this player, the wing player, should not be getting involved. Okay, should see this player as free and actually potentially causes a problem, but doesn't in a situation defender stops and points rather than carrying on taking. Then we get some dribbling. Good cut by Ilya on the handler, but doesn't go. Maybe it was a bit early, but I really would have liked that pass to have gone. If this pass goes into this space, then the deep option is there, and then this whole side of the field options are opened up. But it doesn't go, unfortunately. I feel that should go. Like, that's what we're practicing. This defender has got momentum going away. That's not a problem. Just needs to be into this space. We need that to go. And then they would have caught that disc about where they are there. And then you can see Tom is going to be free deep. Toe stopped in this position again, which probably is not ideal. But Ilya would have got a good shot deep. So once the throw doesn't go to Ilya, I feel that this player should be hit. Ryan tries to go for this like low backhand and doesn't throw it. Maybe because Lehmann does a good job on the mark, but there's so much space over here. The defender's miles away. Anything like a little roll curve into the space, Johan gets. So I think they should have been hit with a throw of some sort. And then once this happens, this is okay. Now looking for the dump, base guarded dump. So the throw goes, and Josh pivots, and eventually that wing who was poached on that side gets the disc. I'd like to see maybe that go, but that's okay. This should definitely go. This throw should go, but misses it. Throws the backhand. We've got 3 in a line, so these two need to recognise that they're handlers and come back a bit more. In fact, I think I'm not sure what Tom's communicating here. It looks to me from the video that he's telling Josh to go up the line. But actually, I think he should just throw the disc. Ilya maybe should be a bit wider. But I think this should go. And then Tom can do the 1-2 into the middle. But he sort of points, and then Ilya clears, and now we're a mess with our shape. And ends up trying to throw the break to Toe, and gets deed. Good pull. That's probably normal standard pull. Handler and a wing doing a 1-2. It'd been nice if they got Hat involved, but it didn't. It's okay. 1-2s. This cut needs to go to the middle, and then Morton can have a serious look at it, but it stops and stalls. Throws the backhand break, which is a great little throw. And that sets up this great little pop pass. And then Josh comes back on that side and gets that disc, which is good. That should go straight back to Josh in this situation. And actually maybe get the pop pass on this side. But doesn't go straight back. It does go back, but if it had gone a little bit quicker, I think we'd have kept more momentum. And I think it should have gone quicker. I think it was quite obvious. Josh makes a good strong cut again, doing this sort of weave though now. We keep weaving it around, and the weave is fine, but it just feel that it just happens for too long, and we lose. We don't take or lose potential opportunities throwing down the middle of the field. Bit squashed. I think this wing over this side could be a little bit wider, but the shape is actually not too bad. Nice backhand break as well. This provides opportunity, and in fact it does provide a very good opportunity, but the throw isn't strong enough. So this backhand break actually is what sets up the opportunity. These two are disconnected. At this point you just need to stay wide, but they just sort of drift in. Now we've got 3 players all in a very close situation, and we've lost our shape. Toe spots the space though. And this inside throw down the middle, this is a good throw. And this is the throw that actually opens up this deep space for Josh, but the thrower just isn't long enough, and Raymond gets the D. Hat catching the disc and using handlers. Get this 3 in a row situation again, which means we have to swing the disc for a while before we can generate it. The defenders are rubbish and they ball poach underneath too far and they get the easy score. Good spot by Tom. Next point, handler, wing, handler. Oh, it's a zone also coming down, so that stagnates. Flat cup, and I think there's a little bit of a touch on that based on Derek's celebration. And the turnover happens, and then it's an easy, quick score. Not much to say about this, apart from defender should be on the more aware on the right side earlier. Next point, I think this might be gameplay now. Camera doesn't help here. So some 1-2s. Could have maybe been moved a little bit quicker. That's not a bad option. And then the deep shot goes on that side. So that's reasonably clean. This is the next point. Starting from the middle, this backhand break is the right option, but it doesn't get executed well, and they quickly score. I guess in that situation, just not pushing your throws too much. Handler catching the disc, throwing to the hat, and then turning and disconnecting. Gets the 1-2 back though, which is good, and now there's in front of both players. And the defense is struggling to catch up. I would have really liked to this throw to have gone. If Tom can seal off his player, and then it doesn't even have to go that far in front of Tom here, like just catch it and pull it on the end of this arrow. This is a break side dump cut in front of your defender. We'll just open up this space on the other side. Would have been very productive if that throw had gone. Doesn't go though. Dump spine, and then the swing goes down the middle. Another dump. It's fine. These all good. Slightly behind. Good catch by Josh. Good. That's a good immediate throw. And then because the disc has been moving so long, defenders get caught out of position, and it's a score. Next point. Hat and handlers again catching the disc. Oh, it's a flat cup zone again. Keep the disc moving. You can play hex against these zones. Now it's gone to person. Okay, and holds onto the disc a little bit long there, and then the throws behind. It's a turnover. And again, it's a nice, quick, easy score because the defenders are not paying attention enough. No force. Makes the score easy. Hat catching the pull, throwing to handler, throwing to wing. It's okay. The shape's good there. I felt Raymond should have carried on going into that handler position at that point. Good flow, great pop pass here. It's what happens when you throw down the middle, is you get these pop passes. I like the break to have gone there, but gets a nice easy disc and then throws a great little return pass back into the middle, which is fantastic. Opens up the other side of the field. And that's a break because of that. Short pass is fine. Remember, take all passes in hex. And then this is good vision. A nice throw to toe in the end zone. Next point. Good rundown. Again, it might be... No, it's person. So Tom wins the deep race there, but there's a switch. Handlers, this IO, nice throw. And then the deep shot gets turned over. There was a poach, I think, and the poach got the disc. Okay, pretty spread out because it was a turnover. Too far, too deep, too spread. Need to recognise that there's a wing position here. Though this poach doesn't get it, and that means that this is way free. And then the defence is really struggling to catch up. A bit wide, maybe, that throw. Someone hitting the middle here. Cecil comes back. This is a good throw. Again, another really good pop pass. And inside out to score. There's a foul on CT here. Good throw through the middle. And then this pop pass should go. Person's poached. Let's use this. That should have gone. And the next one goes, which is actually a harder throw. But yeah, that one should have gone. This goes, which is a harder throw. But anyway, so that one goes. This probably, the angle of the cut and this defender closing probably stopped that one, but it'd be nice if that goes. And then this is just a miscommunication. He was trying to throw it to, I think he was trying to throw it to Derek, but the poach by the handler is what caused CT to hold the disc on too long and then it gets stuck in his hand. So I think he wanted to throw this through this yellow arrow. I don't know what my text meant. This one, but because this player does a little flash poach, then he hesitates, and so that should go, and then that can go round to Derek. So I suppose good defense because it made the person hesitate and throw away. Good 1-2. Oh, it should go. 1-2 still should go, but turned away. This is okay. And then spots this time that Ilya is poached. And throws this round. That's nice. Shape's okay. Missing this wing on this side. Sorry, I'm just going to go back to that point. So this happens a bit. Every time this happens, it stagnates our offense sometimes. So instantly turning away. Definitely a handler at the moment. So should be looking to get 1-2s or go back to handler position, but disconnects, and that means that eventually they do throw the disc, but could have just been a bit earlier. Good spot to see Ilya free, and then charges up the line, which is good. Gives Calvin a swing. Ilya goes, and I liked the swing to have gone there, I think. Shape's a bit out. Ilya should be heading into the dump position rather than heading upfield now, and these players should be thinking about making the other handler in the wing position. But instead, everyone heads downfield, and it makes it a hard throw to Raymond. That slight behind that turns over. Let's throw up the middle. Gets the continuation, but drops the disc I think there's people getting tired now towards the end of practice. Concentration's dropping, which is not good. We need to practice making sure that we keep our focus. Good pop pass, good return. This show, again, this throw should go. Just need to put it in the space. And this one should go as well, maybe. I mean, they did switch on the poach. I think this throw should go. It's 3 players, not even got any mark. Eventually it goes. Maybe a better communication by Calvin to Calvin. Just, again, just little things not going, meaning that the pressure builds. Good catch by Choco to save. Still, the pressure's just building. There's no real structure at this point. And eventually the throw just is errant, and it's a turnover. They played stack, so that's why I'm not commenting really. Though I like the fact that there's the hex movement even within the stack. And the patience is good. A bit of a pick there. Should have been called. I think that went handler. Poor choice, poor vision. Good catch by Tom. That looks like a travel, but it doesn't matter. Would have been 3 anyway. Wing to deep, which is great. Good dump position here by Raymond. Missing the hat, that's fine. So that's good play with the wing going across and letting the deep get the disc in that space. And the swing goes round. And because it went down one side of the field, it made a lot of space on the other side of the field. This 1-2 is great. Momentum into the middle of the field. This throw's a bit lucky. It's not to that player, but gets picked up. Probably got picked up by the other player as well anyway. And a nice little score. Oh, didn't see the program. The video, not very good. Just deep shot, 3 against the zone, and score. Five in a line, really, near enough. I mean, if that throw goes, it opens up the field, but because there's 5 defenders there, it's just going to make it harder. A bit more momentum into that space would have allowed the throw to go easier. Alex picks off the D. And early dumps, good. Shape now. This goes down the middle, pop past to Tom, and then Tom sees that Alex is 3 deep and hits him for the score. It's a good transitional offense there. Hat, handler, wing, deep, I think. I think it would have been nicer to throw a higher percentage pass. I mean, he was 3, should have been hit, but we're making really good options in the middle of the field over small passes. Like, when do you stop throwing 99% passes and throw a 92% pass throw, or whatever it may be? Yeah, it's a difficult one. This is handler bringing the disc to the line in the shape, so this shape is wrong really. We should be having a wing pick the disc up here. Easy switch. Johan gets the disc because he's poached, but then gets point blocked on the backhand, and then easy isolation score. Handler, wing. That would have been nice to have gone. Probably should have gone. This is nice throw into the middle of the field. Nice inside out throw. It's not even a break throw really, but it's causing the disc to go on the break side. The throw is a little bit inside. It probably should have been a little bit more in front, and then that would allow the continuation along the red line. This angle of this cut could have been better. If the throw had been out more, this would have been easier. Eventually it does go to him though, inside. Because he's so free, it just allows the disc to go. So there's lots of options in this situation now for this player. Got a pop pass behind, but it's sort of turned inside. There's this two deep options. Now I prefer the pop pass in this situation. I think this player in red has to communicate because the back is to that player because the throw was slightly inside. So that communication, recognising that far handler is free, and then doing some dribbling, and then looking at these deep shots later, I think is a better option. But instead they look just for this deep shot straight, and it's a bit too far. Should like to keep the disc a bit more. We do need to have deep shots, but we need to be better. I don't know what's happening over here. I think it's a matrix. Treble call. Disc go back. Need to think about getting a shape here on a stoppage, but that doesn't seem to happen in this situation. One handler who ends up being level. Ken, not great D. This is better though, gets this back around. Now the shape is fixed. Near enough. It's getting there. It's a bit squashed on this side of the field, I feel. Sorry, I'll pause it. It's better, but it does feel that it's all this side of the field. Try to put these lines in to show where the field is, but this wing especially could be definitely further away. Though they do get the disc. Good acceleration out of this cut. Really hard cut. Gets a return pass because of it. And then this throw's a bit odd, but works. And then another up the line cut in a minute. Oh, this is a good spot. So this is what we want to be doing because the disc is moving. We want to be able to throw these passes, and if this red player poaches, then we throw to the handler, and the handler throws that pass. That's the point of the triangle, is that we get round regardless of what they do. But that throw goes. Two good options coming up for this player. Stays, throws the middle one, which is fine because he's connected to that player, so that's okay. Get a good 1-2. Get this. There's nothing in front, so that's your first option. Second option is to go back to the player. So the rules of Hex, when you catch disc, is to throw in the direction you're throwing. There's no one there. Throw back to the player that threw to you, which you could do immediately here, or then turn to the middle of the field. So I think could have faked this. Doesn't do either. Should have just thrown straight back, but doesn't do that. And now this player feels that they have to go up the line, whereas if they're thrown straight back, probably wouldn't be able to throw to that middle player straight away. does go eventually the dump, but it could have been taken away before that, so we do need to make sure that we throw the dump earlier, well, especially when on the sideline. And now the inside space is there, and this player should be looking for that, but it's a bit slow to react. And this player should be making a handler spot, but instead they head down the yellow arrow rather than going down on the red arrow. And if they'd gone down the red arrow, then this player here could have looked for this IO, and this player who's being poached quite heavily by this highlighted player could explore this back of the end zone shot. Not that I'm expecting that to go necessarily, but if they're stationary and the person's poached, then it's the same as throwing it against a zone. But instead this player comes across, chews up the space. It just becomes a bit static. Lucky this throw a little bit, and this one's tight, but gets it off. And then there's so much poaching that the throw goes to the back end zone, which I don't mind. It was a nice throw, but falls over and drops the disc, unfortunately. Gets feet in the right place. It's a turnover. I think that point could have been a lot cleaner. Good initial cut. A good 1-2 pass as well. A wing needs to come out of the space though when that happens. Just drifting. Good communication and continuations. Up the line, and another one. This could go into the middle. I think I prefer this to go into the middle here, but it does go up the line and probably should have got it. But the player decides to throw a hammer, I think, and it's out of bounds. So should have taken the more higher percentage option there. A bit excited maybe. This section has way too much running in it. Just run around in weave patterns constantly. And when there's too much running, people get cut off. I mean, Tom is poaching around, which with Alex to a degree, so that's causing a bit of stifling of the offense. It's just all running, all clogging, and then Alex does get the poach blocked. And Derek tidies it up. Sometimes we need to do less running and take the game. This option, I think, is good. This is an inside-out option early doors, but in fact, thinking about this, I didn't write a note on this before, but I think Tom is trying to make this the wing position, but no one else has picked up on that, really. He's gone back to pick up the disc, and he's saying he's the wing, and this got a handler, but the other handler hasn't gone, and there's no hat, and we've got 3 in a line. So, I mean, he does, and Derek's pointing to get the shape. I mean, Nick has got the middle space at the moment. Derek going, and actually, I think Sunny So comes through for the inside, which is fine. Bit of a poach, but still should have called the disc. Drops the disc. And this should be a hat picking up the disc, or a wing picking up, well, a hat probably. Yeah. The hat comes, Cecil needs to be level. Okay. Does run through. And gets the deep coming back under, which is fine. Gets the 1-2, which is great. Now isolated deep. Nothing like this player to catch the disc in the middle, but both players not on the same page. So poor communication. And then there's a turnover ensues. And then the lights go out. And that's it. Okay, so that's a very long video. And I'm going to break it down into small chunks and release them separately. But if you have watched that, well done. There's some good stuff in there, but there's also some tweaks that need to be made, like hand left positions especially. And we've been working on that on practices since that practice, and we will continue to do so. I think that's one big element: taking what you're given, not running too much, and just tightening up these deep throws. I think we don't need to take deep throws that are 80% when we're making 99% passes. There is a balance, and we do need to take deep shots when they're given to us, but they need to be high percentage deep shots. And as we get better at hex, I think that percentage is going to get higher and higher and higher and higher. Okay, hope that wasn't too bad. I hope the short videos will break things down a bit better.